What's up, people? What's up, family? Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Bazsy Talk Show. You know, this is where we get real life facts from real people. And so I hope you enjoyed this episode. But I want to take this time to apologize for not uploading a video. I want to apologize on behalf of the team for not uploading a video last week. I was relocating, so it was very busy. But I hope you forgive me. And moving forward, we're going to be very consistent. So enjoy this show. But before, I want you to do something for me. I want you to like this video. I want you to subscribe to the channel, and I want you to share it. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Women and men, we function, differently, and even taking it down to an individual basis, I function differently from how you even function. So, dealing with women sometimes can be, a little bit of a hassle, and I'm sure they'll say the same thing about us dealing with men too sometimes, because maybe, they expect us to know certain things and we're like, yo, you need to tell us, speak, vocalize some of these things or else we won't know. So it's like, dealing with women, you have to exercise patience. And that actually, it comes with the leadership role. Because there's so many things, if you weren't the leader, you'd probably do certain things differently. But because you're in a leadership position, you have to be very, very careful in your dealings. With women, even there has to be that boundary between, your personal relationship with them and your professional relationship with them. Sometimes when people become too familiar with you, your word all of a sudden it doesn't carry as much weight as as it's supposed to, because that's Junior, that's Jay, But there has to be that line between the two. So okay, if we're talking professionalism, be there on time. Then you be there on time. Make sure you learn this. But again, like I said, dealing with women and just dealing with people in general, I don't even say that everyone is different. So, as a leader, you have to, like Neil mentioned earlier, you have to develop these personal relationships with, all your team members, because again, people function differently. Maybe if I were to deal with one of my female singers, and I say, okay, when we're doing this song, right, I need you to approach it this way. Sing with more power. Sing with, be more this, be more that. They'll say, okay, all right, cool. I'm good. I can say this same exact thing to another female, and Charlie, like right after you make your statement, they'll ask you to go to the bathroom, and from there it's just waterworks.
Yeah.
Because they take they take information differently. So it's like you have to understand, you can't treat all women even the same exact way, or else you're destined to fail. Trust me on that.
Thank you for that wisdom. The same question, but in a different way for Mike. In this sense, you're a married man. I know your choir in a way, and I know that Mike, like Brother Frank said, about 90% of them are women. So as a married man, how do you deal with these women and make sure that your home is also, you come home to a good, smiling woman, and not, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. So, in my case, it's not. There's actually no difference in the way I handle it to what Junior Boateng said, right? So all the women are different, like he said. So you handle everybody differently, even the men. Some of you've been around, I handle everybody differently. Even with the men, I handle everybody differently because I cannot put all of them together. So most of the time when I'm even handling them, I don't handle them together as a group. I call them individually, and I handle issues like, even if it's a group thing, I never call a group meeting. I call them individually and I speak to them. All right. Okay. So let's roll it back to the women. There's not much difference, like from what Junior said. If you know how to handle them and you handle them right, the same way you handle them when you were single is the same way you handle them. If you cannot handle them the same way you handle them when you were single, that means you did something wrong when you were single. You
Wow.
understand?
Yeah.
So if you handle it right, like engineer laid the foundation and the steps and everything to handling them. If you go Junior's way, trust me, you wouldn't have to do anything different when you get married. Yeah.
Thank you. So the key point is the way you handled them when you were single, you have to handle them the same way when you get married.
If you did it right, if you did it right when you were single, you wouldn't have to change a thing. Just follow Junior's advice.
So everyone watching this, follow Junior's advice. He knows all about the system.
I don't charge.
If, like I said, if you have to do something differently when you got married, then it means you were doing something wrong when you were single.
While we are on this, I'm going to ask Nanaya this question: do you believe in discipline? And if so, what are your recommendations? What are some recommendations in discipline? Team members.
So, I'm known to be very strict, and people say I'm not nice, but I'm actually a nice person. But when you are doing the work, you are doing the work. So everywhere I'm teaching, if I'm directing a choir for a concert, preparing a group for a concert, I set out my rules. These are my don'ts. These are my do's. These are my rules. For 6 weeks to the concert, these are the rules to the game. When you're able to set those rules, you put yourself in that shoe. So in setting out those rules, you are in the same way discipline yourself so that you don't also fall from that. So I really believe in discipline. If you have a group, if you have a choir, and there's no proper structure and everybody is doing what they want, then you are just doing something. You don't really have you don't really have a strong team. You need to have standard. You need to have rules. You need to have something that is governing you. You need to have something that is bringing you down. Oh, how they intimate how? Because these are the rules here. There are some churches I directed they will tell you, this church you can't wear jeans. That means these are the rules of the house. Oh, this church you can wear jeans. These are the rules. So even in music, you need to have rules. Even with our different churches and different denominations, I realize that every church has a different style and different approach of going about their things, and those are their rules, and it works for them. So personally, your group, even as an individual, you should have that, and you should have rules so that you can work well. So I believe in discipline. Discipline. It's very important.
Danny, I'm going to ask you this. It's kind of in the same this thing, but I just want to know what's your style of conflict resolution? Like what style?
So like Brother Turkson said earlier, my style of conflict resolution is pulling the people aside, whoever started the conflict or whatever the conflict might be, individually calling, the people out. Sometimes though, you need to address it in front of the whole group. If it's something that you feel like different members have been discussing, you just address it real quick in front of everyone. But I like to just individually call people, let them know like, hey, this is going on. We can't do this here. If you have a problem, then just sit out, because we don't play this here. I feel like even in my church choir, we've kind of set a standard where people know, even if someone is new after the auditioning and all that, when you come to join, there's a standard where if you feel like you can't abide by the rules that were set or whatever has been put in place, you won't even you would stay home. You won't even come to rehearsal because you know that these people don't play. But yeah, I like addressing things head on. I don't like to leave things to linger. As soon as there's a problem, I'm quick to speak about it, and to try to just resolve it once and for all.
Thank you so much.
I read something today on Joyous Celebrations page. It's just something funny. It says, if there's any argument or there's any disagreement in the choir, it comes from the alto singers.
Sometimes the sopranos, though.
Then
Sopranos too.
I have a different perspective. It can be the tennis.
So this question
Lord
is
have mercy.
for all of you guys, and everyone. You have a minute and a half to answer this question. It's for everyone. So the question is, question anyway. I've seen it.
That's sure.
So yeah, I've seen it. What has been your experience with the religious members of your team? You know, there's this one or two people who are very, very religious. I mean, even in the church setting, I mean, it's a religious thing we are doing, but there are some people that are, overly, if you don't fix it well, the choir will become a prayer warrior, team. So I'm going to ask this question one more time because I'm not going to put what I said in the.
If we're being real,
now.
It's a real show.
Some people think
You are a reason why some will come to church and would not be saved. Because when you're standing in two different things, jack of all trades, master of none. So when you can't have the time to actually rehearse your songs, if you can come and stand on stage and your pitch is distracting, it's causing attention. So in any event, when God has to be uplifted and now all attention is focused from God to you, that is a different discipline. So rather than having to, quote biblical verses here and there, what you want to tell yourself is that there is also that part in the Bible, in Timothy, that the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. I'm sure while we as singers are over here rehearsing or singing, the prayer warriors are somewhere also praying. The word or ministry, the preaching department are also probably doing what befits what trait they're actually gonna uplift in the church. So you want to make sure that you're not mixing the two. Obviously, worship is an art, but then also worship comes from within. If you cannot worship in your closet, you cannot be a worshiper in public. So we already know that. So while you have that in you, you don't come to try to superimpose what you've already learned to try to make yourself, because the thing is, perhaps, excuse me to use this word, you're probably not relevant in what we're doing in the music ministry, but then you still want your voice to be heard in different disciplines. So shoot, if I can't hit a note while I'm still in the choir, let me try to thrive in, just preaching here and there. So it becomes a huge distraction to what you do in that music department.
So with the same topic, I'm going to ask Danny, what do you do in that situation? When someone comes, because I didn't want to do this on. I didn't want anyone to know that I'm a musician, but me too, I'm a musician, kakra.
Really?
Wow.
Kakra. Hey.
Because I follow you guys, but what I've noticed, in the music let me say the church music industry. I don't know the right word to use. Those who come off as religious are the ones mostly that have deficiencies in the main work. You understand? Like the main work that needs to be done. Like Brother Frank was saying, they, literally, if I have to work on sound, they are the ones that I will mainly lower their mics because the notes are a distraction.
They're not a part of the front liners.
Yes. So what do you do in
Non-essential workers.
I'm telling you, Corona has shown the essential.
I'm editing that part.
Keep it in there.
For peace, please.
Anyway, so Danny, what do you do in that situation? When you encounter such people.
So I definitely have had some encounters with people, both inside and out. Like people, let's say you put them on program for worship, and because they might not have the best voice, before they start worship, they'll read a whole passage and break it down and explain, and then encourage the people to pray. And then everyone's like, okay, like, who are you? And then if you take too long then somebody will raise a song for you. So I think with those people, my church, we do a lot of education. We have a lot of retreats to explain, the music ministry in a whole. We emphasize that balance is important. The spiritual aspect, as Frank was saying, is important. But then when we come to rehearsal too, it's a different ball game. We're there to rehearse. We're there to, learn the music, to study, to work on our blend, to work on our dynamics. So I feel like just emphasizing that, teaching the people that is one thing we do. Another thing, I was having a conversation with a friend. I know there's some choirs who, like people join the choir, but then you see that they're more so a prayer warrior. So they end up just forming a prayer team for the choir. So as the choir is ministering, as the choir is doing their own thing, they're at the back of the church praying. And, so you can kind of find ways to group them into their own thing while you still have, your thing going without stepping on any toes.
Wow.
Well, for the church. But if it's outside the church, then you just tell them, okay.
Wow, that's amazing. Some people too, I've realized that when they join the choir, they are more, instead of being prayer warriors, like you said, they are more of tambourine players,
So you encourage them to see that ministry.
Is that what you are saying, Danny? Like you identify the talent and create a place for them to...
I guess kind of. Identify the talent. And if the person is yearning to do that more, then of course tell them, oh yeah, you can join the tambourine players, you can join the children's ministry. Because we went to, I forget the church. We went to a church in Houston, and I think you were there too, that same gig. And we're talking to their music director, like their choir was so good, their blend, their everything just so on point. So I'm like, how do you guys, come up with your stuff? And he's like, when he joined the church, he set a standard. And a lot of people ended up quitting because like all these, you need to swap, you need to know your part, you need to do this. It was too much. And he was like, people actually appreciated. They came back to him like, wow, I never knew that the children's ministry was so fun. Like all the people that left. So, I feel like sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and let it be known. Because sometimes it just brings the group could be going somewhere, but they just keep pulling the people back. Right. So I feel like a lot of it goes back to standard, letting them know like, hey, I like to single people out. If we're at a rehearsal and, we sent the song out on Monday, we're coming, everybody should have an idea of what the part is. Definitely you should know the words. So I'll call you out like, okay, this person, sing it. And I feel like the more you do that, even though some people are shy and like, man, it encourages them to get on top of their stuff or to, maybe find another ministry that they like.
Junior, do you have any secret talent? And if you do, what is it?
I'm a professional wachi eater.
It could be music, it could be an instrument that you play that nobody knows.
Oh, I
yeah.
play the spoons. of course.
That's good. Danny, any secret talent you have?
I play very little keyboard just to get by, but I transpose. So
Ohio and little. Ohio
you said
Daddy, we've heard you before, man. That's not little.
no. That's honestly nah. That's
Naya.
little, very little.
Naya.
I can really fool. Hey, Jimmy, oh.
Frank.
I think when we are going on, our trips, which you're very familiar with, on our gigs, obviously Junior knows what I'm talking about. I think my hidden talent is I really have an eye for where the very good spots with food.
Oh,
So,
Michael.
Obviously, it's a secret, right? So even me myself, I have no idea. If I know, it wouldn't be a secret. I have no idea because obviously it's a secret to me myself. So
So the next question is, what adjustments have you made as a music director in this season? With this whole Corona thing, COVID-19, people locked down, and so what adjustments have you made as a music director to still feed the church with quality music? I'll start with Danny.
Okay, so we've been live streaming. So we currently are we have like a rotation schedule. One keyboardist, one drummer, one bassist, one soprano, one alto, one tenor, and then somebody to lead. So a lot of songs of encouragement though this season, because I feel like the messages have followed that, words of encouragement. But we've been doing a lot of just like simple arrangements, not many, like, so that we don't have to rehearse too much, just things that everyone can catch on to, and just run the service that way. We've been considering pre-recording as well. That way we can do some more full things, maybe add a few singers, record and all that. But that's some of the adjustments we've made. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the introduction of secular music into the church? Some people like the idea. Some people have the argument that we should be able to experience, if we are told not to go into the secular world, clubs and stuff, there should be some.
To bring your club to church.
Jesus.
oh boy.
all the bushia songs, can change the lyrics. By music, I just mean just the the background, not the lyrics, but there are some songs that you can hear and you can tell that, oh, this is the music for this particular song, and it's been taken out and it's been brought to the church. What are your thoughts on that? Since it looks like Niall has a response to that, so
wait. The question is, we should change the lyrics of the music.
No, I'm saying mostly,
or we should sing the secular song in church.
No, I'm saying, what are your thoughts on the introduction of secular music into church? By secular music, I'm not talking about the lyrics.
We should sing
I have seen
the secular song in the church.
I've seen a church, play Seube Mwanyemenina Yedin. That a song by Castro and Sarkodie. I believe so. I'm not that holy, but I think I know that one. So what are your thoughts on songs like that being played, in church?
with music, I always tell people this: with the gospel music, it's a spirit and truth. If there's no spirit, there's no truth. You will not bless lives. Gospel music is about blessing lives. It's not about entertaining lives. So if you are bringing it, are you entertaining the people or you are blessing them? It's all about blessing. It's spirit and in truth. The spirit behind the song. You are ministering to people. You are touching lives. You are like the pastor. You are speaking directly to the soul, to the spirit of the human being sitting under your administration. So personally, it's a no-no for me. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm not trying to be perfect or anything. But in the church, to me, no. I can't even see myself teaching my choir a secular song as a ministration on Sunday. Like, we didn't come here. We are not here to entertain the souls. We are here to bless lives. Is that song going to heal someone from depression, sorrow? Is that person going to have an encounter with God? That is my focus.
I guess
if it's not,
I guess then the question is, what is the secular music? Because I've seen pastors as well, well, and today my mind is open, open to change.
Listen, I have done. I won't say I don't sing secular song. I sing secular song. I listen to secular song. Sometimes to maybe there's a new song by this one. Oh, I want to go and hear the production. I listen to secular song to enlighten my ears and all. But this is the altar of God. Like, there are two different stages. You can't play with the altar of God, where when we need something, we go and kneel down and pray to him. We are going to. You can't serve two masters at the same time. Note, I've done a gig whereby top pastors, it was a dinner, and the songs they played were Motown records. I got sunshine that I got today, and I thought, yeah, so for now, you do in Jimmy near to na this, but I realized that they respected that this is not the altar of God.
Okay.
They will not let their church sing that song in church. This was a function, like it was a dinner, so you just wanted to have fun and sing. And even going back to listening to a song, the content of the song were not even bad. You're just talking about life, nature, smile, everything's gonna be all right and all that. So there are different things altogether.
Junior,
do you have any take on that?
I mean, I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from. I'll say this. We have to definitely kind of break down what quote unquote secular music is, because realistically, right, this means if we're singing A B C D E F G, secular music. If we're singing a love song, secular music. If you're singing a song that the message may be positive, but it's encouraging someone, it's still secular music. So it's like, like there's so many facets to what makes music secular. So me personally, I mean, like I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like, obviously it depends on some of these songs that you're referencing, because at the end of the day, if I'm saying, okay, I'm singing about love, and we as Christians, our Bible tells us that God is love. So I mean, I don't see the issue, singing a song, that speaks of love. Maybe it may not be the love of God, but maybe the love between a brother and a brother.
A brother and a brother.
See, a brother and a brother. It's
There are
not
two
the kind of,
different things. Maybe when you're singing such a song at a wedding,
no,
We are talking
no.
about church. Let's stick to church. We are not talking
Yeah.
about
church.
folks singing secular. We are talking about the introduction of secular music to in the church.
It's funny because right now, what we deem as traditional hymns and all, back in the day when they first started introducing those kind of chord structures to church, back then the mindset was, oh, this is secular, this is of the devil.
Clark Sisters.
Oh yeah, exactly, Clark
Right.
Sisters. But back then that was the mindset. Now, in today's day and age, we're saying, okay, yeah, this is the sound of the church. What doesn't sound like this, it's secular. You know what I mean? So it's like, so that's what I'm saying. Like I mean, this thing, there's a lot to it. Now, let's take practical examples. If let's say we're doing a song, and you use we're all musicians. You use a line from a secular song. So we're playing some ballad, and then like you use some line, and let's say, in from like the people who are listening standpoint, when they hear that line, someone might not know what it is. Someone might know, hey, Charlie, these people, they just inserted a lumba into. So